Welcome back to the DFS Sweatshop. I am your host, the DFS Jerusalem, and you can follow me, of course, on Twitter at DFS Jerusalem. Tonight, we're going to be breaking down last night's 6-game slate. Pretty interesting slate of games. A lot of things were unexpected. Some things we thought would happen did not, and a lot of things came out of nowhere, man. It's a very interesting slate. Something to get us geared up for the rest of our NBA week. We know tomorrow we've got a really nice 10-game slate and a couple more big ones as we go on throughout the week. We're going to go with our regular formatting of the show. First, I'm going to talk about my core four. And this is, like I say all the time, this is just to allow you to have that transparency with me where you know that the same guys I'm talking about are the same guys I'm playing. I go over my core four, see how that stacked up against the rest of the league, and you can see how it stacked up against your own personal core of players. You didn't have to use mine, but as long as you used the core of players and you stuck to it, you were halfway to doing what you wanted to do as far as being a profitable DFS player. If you wanted to get a look more in depth at how I go about the core 4 roster build here in the DFS Sweatshop, you are more than welcome to check out the tutorial videos. They're on the dfssweatshop.com website. You will have to get access passwords to get in there and check it out. But if you're in the VIP Facebook group, we talk about it all the time. You know exactly what I'm saying and how I build those 8-man rosters. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. We're going to start with a play that I really like. This guy can just erupt at certain times and have really great games. And I thought that up against the team that they were going against tonight would be one of those nights. And not a very great showing from him. Didn't really kill the core 4, but he didn't help our cause at all. He fell a few points shy of that 6x value that we look for when we roster guys in our core 4. And I'm talking about Klay Thompson. At 6.2K, he was about 10% owned, so the ownership was low enough for him on a 6-game slate to, score really well and make a big difference in our lineups. But he only had 29.25 DraftKings points. Not a good showing in the core 4 for Klay Thompson. The next guy we're going to talk about started off very slow. Had me second guessing why I put him in there, but he ended up having a really good second half at 7.9K, 11% in ownership. He again was in position. Paul Millsap had 41.75 DraftKings points. Not a horrible night from him, but not that true 6x value. We needed about 47 DraftKings points in order to get that 6x that we needed to justify putting him in the core 4. The next guy was in a really tough matchup. Looking back on it, I guess I thought that his youth and vigor to score and to win and to be a part of this young, vibrant team was gonna be enough to overshadow playing against some veteran guys. But Karl Anthony Towns at 8.6K, 14% in ownership, had 42 DraftKings points. Not a horrible night at all, by any means. None of these guys had horrible nights, but we need more than that. We need 6x value as a floor. We need the least you can do is to go out and get 6 times what we paid for you. And we didn't get that from Karl Anthony Towns. And to finish off the core 4, the only guy who actually did go out and meet that 6x value and exceeded a little bit for us was Evan Fournier, 5.7K in salary, under 10% owned, right about 9.5% owned. He had 38.5 DraftKings points. Excellent game from Evan Fournier. Now we jump into the part of the show where we talk about our feature 4 players. These are the most talked about, most tweeted about guys in the DFS Sweatshop and in the Facebook VIP. This is who we all had something to say about, good or bad. We're going to start with the Who Dat scoring on points over there, player of the night. This is a guy who we talked about a lot in the other night show. I really liked him. I kind of asked the DFS gods if we could see another one of those Elfrid Payton games where he just goes off, and that's what happened. We did see that tonight, so if you rostered him, I know he definitely helped you get closer to the cash line. Unfortunately, tonight, everybody kind of went off. Like everybody nobody really had like shitty games except for the guys we're gonna talk about a little later. But Elfrid Payton, man, at 4.7K, 10% in ownership, goes out and scores 54.75 DraftKings points, annihilates that 6x value up to the tune of 12x almost. This has a wonderful, 13x, has a wonderful game in Orlando. Pretty nice game we saw from Elfrid Payton. The how did I miss that play tonight goes to a guy who we should have been on. We should have been on this guy. There's no way this guy's ownership should have been that low. I'm talking about 9% ownership for this guy that was going up against in a home matchup. Clearly the best point guard or player for that matter on the team, was going to be a focal point. I'm talking about Eric Bledsoe at 8K in salary. Of course, he was 9% owned, goes out and scores 54.5 DraftKings points against the New York Knicks, has an awesome, excellent game. His third 30-point game in a row. Now, his birthday was a few nights ago when he first started this streak, and he is apparently still celebrating on the court because he had an excellent game. 54.75 DraftKings points for Eric Bledsoe. Now we're going to get into the heat check player tonight. This is the guy that when the value and the price meet each other, he did exactly what you wanted him to do. The ownership on him was very low, about 13%. He was in a matchup against Anthony Davis that kind of left a lot to be desired, just the matchup itself. I mean, going up against Anthony Davis, you really don't like to target him because he's one of the best defensive players in the league, and this assignment to guard him kind of takes so much from a player that you really don't want to count on that same guy to get busy on the offensive side of the ball. You just want him to focus on making it as difficult for Anthony Davis to score as you can, and he did do that. I mean, Davis still had a good game, but he harassed him the entire game. Every second on the floor, he was in his face, harassing him, and still had enough to go ahead and put some scoring and some assists and rebounds up with that. So we're talking about the heat check player tonight. It's going to be Draymond Green at 13% ownership, 7.5K. He led all DraftKings scorers with 58.5 DraftKings points. Hats off to you, Mr. Draymond Green. You are tonight's heat check player of the night. And now, you know what? I'm not going to go off on this dude. I can't. I'm not going to go off on this dude for two reasons. For number one, I myself tell you night in and night out, this dude is too fucking expensive. We can't afford this dude. I talk to you like a husband that is trying to tear his wife away from a new fur coat. Baby, we don't need it. Baby, you don't need no fur coat. We live in South Carolina, baby. It's summertime. We don't need no fur coat, baby. But guess what I did? I went out and bought that motherfucking fur coat in the middle of summer. And that's why tonight, Mr. Russell Westbrook, you a motherfucking snowflake. But I can't go hard on you because we should have saw this coming. Foreshadowing was there. We looked at what he has to do to justify that salary, what he has to do, what he has to bring back. That's like in the street, man. That's like giving somebody a little bit of drugs, tell them to bring back a lot of money. That's what we're doing. We're pimping this shit out of Russ Westbrook every week. And guess what? Sometimes hoes get tired. He a tired hoe. Every night. 12, 13,000 you send a man out with. And you want him to bring you back 80 points, 90 points. You know how much dick a hoe got to suck to turn $13 into 90? That's crazy. So that's our bad. That's my fault. So, Mr. Westbrook, while you a motherfucking snowflake, while you still a snowflake, it ain't all on you. Depot was out. Another clue to stay away from Westbrook in this game. When the only person that may be able to take a little bit of the pressure, the scoring load off of this dude is not playing. I mean, what do we expect? The wagon is gonna fall. And it fell tonight, and that's why, Mr. Westbrook, you a motherfucking snowflake with your snowflake ass, and I ain't gonna roster you again. Not because you're not one of the best players in the league, but because the price is too high. The man is a tired hoe. Let's move on with the rest of the show. Now, what we're gonna do before I jump into my best DraftKings lineup, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick recap of last night's games. It's only 6 games, so we'll be able to run through it fairly quickly. We are going to start. Where are we? As soon as my NBA League Pass apps open up, and I can't stress this enough to you every night. You got to get on League Pass. I'm not a proponent of pirating content of any sort, because you have your Reddits and your things like that. And I'm not gonna say that you should go to Reddit and watch games for free. I'm not saying that, because you could pay for League Pass with your hard-earned money. I ain't saying you can go to Reddit and do it. I ain't gonna tell you there's little threads on Reddit where you can watch every game. I'm not gonna say that. You can buy League Pass. Like I did. I bought League Pass. I got it. You know what I mean? You can buy League Pass. But you got to watch these games, man. You're not gonna know. There's a few plays tonight that I knew will be good, because I watched so much game tape and I watched so much League Pass. There's a few plays I knew going in. There's some every slate, man. Every slate, there's a few guys that I tweet out and I'm like, yo, fuck with this dude, and he brings you back the money. He does, and that just comes from, it's not because I'm smarter than you or I know more than you. That's not it. It's because I watch so much fucking basketball. Sometimes too much. Sometimes I watch so much basketball that I get higher on a player than I should be. But most of the time, it does work out to my benefit and as well as yours. So we're going to start with the first game on the slate. It is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers at the crib against the Memphis Grizzlies. We talked about this game the last time out. I was like, yo, I don't know about LeBron in this game. I just don't feel like he's going to be around in the fourth quarter. I mean, he's going to get 40 points, 35 points, and you're going to see that, oh, shit, it's the first half, and I got 40 points from LeBron, but he's not going to be playing in the fourth quarter. So you're not going to see that, what you need from him, that 60-point game you want from LeBron James, because he's LeBron James. You're not going to get it, and that's kind of what happened tonight. We're going to start on the Cleveland side. Now, LeBron did have a good game. He played 36 minutes, 23 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, and 3 steals. Good game from him. But Kevin Love was actually the story of this game, and he's been like that. Whenever Kyrie Irving is out, people automatically think, oh, yeah, give me all the LeBron. But no, man. No, you can get all the love for cheaper. And he's probably going to score more. So we've got 29 for Kevin Love in 34 minutes, 13 rebounds to go with 3 assists and 2 steals. Nice game from him. My main man, J.R. Smith, he's a former Knick, so I know his game. I see him a lot. And he's a guy that can score. When he's in a situation where there's no Kyrie, I like J.R. Smith. I just do. And I liked him before that, but when the news broke that Kyrie wasn't going to play at all, I was like, yes, give me all the JR. And he went out in 33 minutes and had 23 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and 1 block. Pretty good game from him. We saw nothing else from anyone else on the Cleveland side of the ball. Let's go over to the Memphis Grizzlies side. Now, I was big on Harrison, the point guard. I kind of like Harrison, the point guard, because in my initial overview, once I did the show and we talked about it later on, I was like, yo, Kyrie Irving sucks at defense, so you might want to play Andrew Harrison. But then when he was out, I went back to my stance. Nah, fuck that. I'm not playing him if he's out. If Kyrie is out, I'm not playing the Harrison dude. And he had a good game. He had 13 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 3 blocks. We saw Zebo, the industry chalk. He was a player that I got from the industry. Everybody was going to be on him because we didn't see Marc Gasol. He had 18 points and 5 rebounds to go with 2 assists and 2 steals. Pretty good game from him. Troy Williams got into the action in 36 minutes, had 13 points and 6 rebounds to go with an assist. And not too much else we saw. We saw Jarrell Martin for 19 minutes. He grabbed 10 boards and had 8 points to go with an assist. Pretty good game from him at that price point. The next game we're going to get into was a game that I should have liked a lot more. I did like a few players in the game, but I should have liked this game a lot more when it came to my roster building. We're going to start on the Orlando side. Aaron Gordon, man, I think it's safe to say that he is not a part of this rotation. Even with Vucevic not playing and the others like the shitty bigs on the team, like not really getting a shot. He's not playing much minutes. He had 18 minutes and he had 7 points, 3 boards, and 2 assists. Not a great game for him at all. But Evan Fournier was somebody who was in the core four. We talked about him earlier. He only played 32 minutes, but he had 23 points, 6 assists, and 2 steals with a block. Nice game from him. We saw Serge Ibaka with a scoring surge. He had 29 points and 3 rebounds to go with 2 assists and 1 steal in 32 minutes. Elfrid Payton was actually the play of this game, man. He had 26 and 14 assists to go with 3 rebounds and 1 steal. Very nice game from Elfrid Payton. And we also saw Jody Meeks off of the bench for 26 minutes in a little scrub love with 20 and 4 to go with 2 assists and 2 steals. On the Atlanta side of the ball, I had a great feeling that Dwight Howard was going to have a nice game, and he did just that, man. He grabbed 16 boards, scored 20 points, had an assist and a block. Pretty nice game from him. Thabo Sefolosha was somebody who I really liked, not seeing Kent Bazemore, but we did see him for 14 minutes. Kent Bazemore, that is. Thabo had 17 points and 5 rebounds to go with 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. That's a dude that can get a tick in every area of the stat sheet. Paul Millsap, he fell 1 rebound shy of the double-double bonus. He had 17 and 9 to go with 5 assists and 2 steals with a block. Pretty good game from him. Tim Hardaway Jr. even got into the action, starting the game, playing 30 minutes. He had 12 points, 3 rebounds, and 2 assists. Not much else we saw off the bench aside from Kyle Korver and his 12 points and 1 rebound. The next game we're going to be getting into is going to be the Chicago Bulls at the crib against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This was a very good game, probably the most entertaining game on the slate. Even though we did have one to go into overtime, this game was very entertaining. And we're going to start on the Minnesota side. Not expecting a great game from Andrew Wiggins. He really showed us that this dude, he's the real deal. In 39 minutes, he had 23 points, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. Gorgie Jang, who I was very high on today, had 16 and 7 to go with 2 assists and 2 blocks. We saw a pretty decent game from Karl-Anthony Towns. We talked about him in the core 4. He had 16 and 12 to go with 2 assists and 3 blocks and a steal. But a nice game we saw from Zach LaVine, man. He had 24 and 6 to go with 6 assists and a block. And Ricky Rubio also doubled in his 34 minutes, 11 and 10 assists, that is, to go with 5 boards and a steal. On the Chicago side, Dwayne Wade had a really good game until he got ejected a little later in the fourth quarter. He had 12 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals with a block in 32 minutes. Jimmy Butler played 38 minutes and had 27 and 9 boards to go with 6 assists, 3 steals, and 1 block. We saw a really nice game from Robin Lopez at his price point. The 4 blocks really helped out a lot to go along with 5 rebounds and 14 points. And Taj Gibson underwhelmed in this game. Only had 10 points, 4 boards, and 1 assist in 27 minutes. The next game we're going to talk about is the New Orleans Pelicans at the crib taking on the Golden State Warriors, playing host to those guys. The Golden State Warriors, man, this team, I kind of thought this was going to be the game flow. This is one of the games that I got right when it came to game flow. I didn't think that they were going to blow them out. And we're not seeing that killer instinct, blow them off the court, Golden State Warriors that we saw last year when they went on that incredible streak, and that overall run of regular season games. We're just not seeing that. And I don't know if it's by design because they don't want the pressure that's associated with going out trying to win all those games, or if this team just doesn't have it. I don't think Durant has it. So I don't think this team has it because he's clearly, the best player on the team. Clearly. He's clearly the best player on the team all around. And he's just not attacking the way, the Golden State Warriors teams did in previous years. So Kevin Durant in 37 minutes had 27 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 blocks. We saw a triple-double, a really nice triple-double from the Heat check player tonight. 12 and 12 with 10 assists for 4 steals and 2 blocks. Really nice game from Draymond Green. Steph Curry dropped 30, and he's the guy that I told you that I really liked, but funny, I didn't have him in very many spots. I chose to go cheaper with a lot of Klay Thompson, but Curry did have 30 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 steal, and we saw 17 and 3 with 3 assists and 2 blocks from Klay Thompson. Not much else we saw off of the bench. JaVale McGee got the start, but he only played 16 minutes, and he looked like he was gonna break the bank in the beginning, but he didn't get a lot of minutes. He had 9 and 5. We saw them do their usual go small thing, not a lot of minutes for the center, but he was only minimum salary. It was cool to take a flyer out on him. The New Orleans Pelicans side, pretty decent game we saw from Anthony Davis, man. Not the 70-point game that we think we're going to give him every time he goes out, but he did get 28 and 8 with 3 assists, 2 steals, and 5 blocks. 5 blocks, which were very huge. We saw a nice game from Terrence Jones in backup duty. He had 21 minutes, 8 points, and 10 boards. Tim Frazier kind of underwhelmed in his 29 minutes. He had 13 and 2 to go with 8 assists and 1 steal. And Drew Holiday, man, he had a really nice game. 10, 8, and 6 with 4 steals and 1 block. Pretty nice game from him. Langston Galloway chipped in with 20 points and 5 rebounds to go with 3 steals. And we also saw Solomon Hill for 29 minutes have 12 points and 6 rebounds to go with 1 assist. This was a team effort. Like, they were very close to beating the Golden State Warriors. And that's not something that a lot of teams can say. The next game we're going to talk about is the Phoenix Suns at home against my New York Knicks. Now, this game did go into overtime, so we saw a little bit of bloated scoring in this game, most notably from Kristaps Porzingis. Even though he fouled out a little later into the first and only overtime period, Kristaps, man, had a nice game. 34 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals, 3 blocks in 41 minutes. We saw a stinker from Carmelo Anthony. He only had 13 points and 6 rebounds to go with 5 assists in his 39 minutes. Kyle O'Quinn was the story off of the bench in this game. Grabbed 14 boards, 22 points, 2 assists, and 1 steal. We only saw 21 minutes of Joakim Noah, but he had 8 and 8 with 3 assists and 1 steal with a block. Now, Derrick Rose went out of this game early with back spasms. Go figure. Don't know when we're going to see him back. Don't know if we need to see him back. In his 9 minutes, he had 2 points and 1 rebound. Shit for him. Not too much else we saw from the Knicks side of the ball. On the Phoenix side, Marcus Chris finally had a game that a starter should have. I mean, this dude, he's a rookie, so of course his game is going to take a while to come along. But we've been waiting for the better part of the last 10 games for Marcus Chris to go ahead and let us know why he's in the starting lineup. And he did that tonight. Had 14 points, 12 rebounds, 1 steal, 1 block. Really nice game from him. And you can always do that against the Knicks. Every team has like a coming out party against the Knicks. If you want to like blow up, you want to go to the All-Star game, just play the Knicks. Fucking bullshit. All right. Tyson Chandler was actually the best play in this game when it comes to value, because at his price point, 4.9K, he went out and had 13 points and grabbed 23 boards with a steal and a block. Nice game from him. Devin Booker stank up the joint for 35 minutes. He had 12 points to go with a rebound and a block. And Eric Bledsoe, man, excellent game from him in 39 minutes. He had 31 points, 6 rebounds, 8 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block. Very nice game for Eric Bledsoe. And that's why he's the how did I miss that play tonight. We talked about P.J. Tucker a little bit. He played 40 minutes, played a ton of minutes. And he had 13 points and 7 boards to go with 1 assist, 3 steals, and a block. Really nice game from him. The next game we're going to talk about is the final game on the slate. And this is the game that fucked up all the lineups. Our Snowflake lived here with your old Snowflake ass. We're going to start on their side of the ball, where we saw Andre Roberson for 31 minutes. He had 7 and 4 to go with an assist. Not a good game from him. Russell Westbrook had 26 and 6 with his snowflake ass, and we didn't see shit else from nobody else. I mean, Steven Adams had 14 and 4. Sabonis had 9 boards and 5 points. Like, this is just a bunch of crap. This is a shitty game. But on the Portland side, they did. See, you see how a player with that high a salary can affect so many others scoring. If he don't score 70 points, that means they're not in the game. That means if they're not in the game, Lillard isn't in the game. McCollum isn't in the game. Plumlee isn't in the game. That means Evan Turner's in the game. Fucked up all the lineups. Mo Harkless, man, in 24 minutes had 15 points to go with 4 rebounds. We saw a really nice game from Alan Crabb. He had 11 and 3 to go with 2 assists. Lillard only had 17 and 2 to go with 9 assists and 1 steal. He didn't have to play a lot of minutes. It was a blowout. McCollum 15 and 4 to go with 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. And we also saw Mason Plumlee have 18 points and 7 rebounds to go with 2 assists. Not a great game from anybody, because they didn't have to play a great game. They just blew the doors off of the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now that we've talked about the recap, and we recapped the plays, let's go ahead and look at my best DraftKings lineup, just so I can show you exactly what was my mindset in my roster building. Here we are. And we do this to definitely create that transparency, man. I just want to take a look back at what I've done, see maybe what I can do better going forward, okay? All right, here we are. I believe, now I was knocking at the door at the 300 Club tonight, and you can't get in. There's only one way to get in the 300 Club. You got to hang up 300. You can't do it. No other way. I understand. Even for me. Like, I can't get in. Let's go here. This was my best DraftKings lineup. Okay? Now, and I'm going to give you my thought processes into the changes that I made and the things I did to make this lineup come out the way it did. Now, I started this lineup. This was a core 4 lineup. I had Klay Thompson. I had Karl Anthony Towns here. I had what's my man's name? I had Fournier, and I had Millsap in this lineup. And if I remember correctly, I wanted to get to Tyson Chandler and move down off of Karl Anthony Towns, but I still wanted some exposure to the Minnesota Timberwolves. So what I did was I moved down from Towns to Tyson Chandler, which allowed me to pay up for Zach LaVine and Gorgie Jang. Now, my whole thought process in this was I wanted to get a piece of the Russell Westbrook stuff. That's why you see him right here with that 36 points with his old snowflake ass. So the only way that I could keep, the only person I could really keep from the core 4 was Klay Thompson if I paid down to get Elfrid Payton as well. So that's how this lineup shaped out, and it looked pretty good. I mean, I'm talking halfway through the night, I was like, oh shit, I'm about to fucking kill it. Because these guys had not yet played. Russell Westbrook hadn't played yet. Andre Roberson hadn't played yet. So I was looking good. And Klay Thompson was even a later game too. So these guys had balled out. I was like, oh shit, it's going down. So we saw 54 from Elfrid Payton, 29 from Klay Thompson, 19 from Roberson, 31 from Gorgie Jang, which is pretty good. Tyson Chandler went off for 46, 42 from Zach LaVine, nice play there. Thabo met his value at 33, and Russell Westbrook 33, and 36, excuse me. And this lineup finished with 292.25 DraftKings points. Not a very good showing, as you needed to really get deep into the 300 Club to make a dent in the tournament and really pad your bankroll tonight. So now let us jump into the player pricing for tomorrow, just so we can get a good look and you know, kind of develop our player pool for what we have going forward. Okay, how we do that? We're gonna jump in here, create new lineup, and this is gonna be for the full 10 game slate tomorrow. Jump in that 10 game slate. Now, as you can see, we're in a very similar situation to the one that we were just in. But the only difference to me between Westbrook and Harden is Westbrook doesn't have a team. Like, he doesn't have a good team. But Harden, on the other hand, he has a nice squad to where, you know, if he's scoring and he can assist the ball, he can do there's other ways he can score. He's a kind of a better, even though Westbrook is averaging a triple-double, he's a better rebounder and a better facilitator. He's more of a point guard. He can take on more of a point guard role. I'm talking about James Harden than Russell Westbrook. If you ever notice, James Harden makes it look easier as he scores. He's a better shooter. I'm not saying he's a better all-around player. I'm not saying that. But he doesn't have to try as hard and take as much from everybody. He doesn't have to suck up and absorb all the energy from everybody else in order to fill up the stat sheet. So James Harden, even though he's at 12K, he is in consideration for me because James Harden is just that good. I do like James Harden. Tomorrow, not so much. Going up against the Sacramento Kings at home, I don't think we're going to need to see very much from James Harden, or I don't think we're going to need to see 70 points, drafting points from James Harden to beat the Sacramento Kings. I think this game is going to kind of be a blowout. Just off first glance, that's just what I'm thinking. But I do like DeMarcus Cousins a little bit tomorrow. Let's just go through everybody and see what we got. We got 11.8 for Russell Westbrook. No, I'm not doing that against Utah. No, never. DeMarcus Cousins at 11.6. That salary's a little too high for me. I think the game may blow out, so I'm not going there. We know LeBron James is out. They're going to be sitting the big three tomorrow. Chris Paul at 8.7 is definitely in play. People are going to see that DVP against Orlando against point guards, and they're going to shy away from Chris Paul. I don't know why. I like Chris Paul tomorrow. John Wall is in play for me against the Charlotte Hornets at 8.6. Blake Griffin, of course, is in play at 8.5. I do not like Gordon Hayward that much at 8.4, but he's going to be in some of my lineups. Oklahoma City on the back-to-back. He's going to see some the Andre Roberson defense. That could be problematic for him. Then you've got the power forward from that team coming back, and it may disrupt the chemistry a little bit. He's going to see limited minutes. Derek Favors. I'm not sure how it's going to affect the whole team. This is a game that I might just stay away from. Hassan Whiteside at 8.3 looks good against Indiana, definitely. Kyle Lowry, who I really like against Philadelphia. Now, that's if Embiid is playing. If Embiid is playing, this game may not blow out, so I do like Kyle Lowry to see his full allotment of minutes. Kawhi Leonard for Boston, 8.1, no. Andre Drummond at 8K, I like him against Dallas. DeMar DeRozan at 8K, no. Marcus Gasol is out. Paul George against Miami, I don't like that very much, but that could be a decent play. It's not one of my favorite plays. Kevin Love is going to be out, of course. Kyrie Irving's going to be out, of course. The big three's out tomorrow. Joel Embiid is questionable at 7.4K. That's not an outrageous price for him. It hasn't gone up that much. Goran Dragic is probably one of my favorite point guard plays on the slate for tomorrow. I like Kemba Walker against John Wall. I like Rudy Gobert, of course, against Oklahoma City. Nicholas Batum, not in play for me tomorrow. Brook Lopez is one of my favorite plays on the slate. This is a LA guy, well, a Los Angeles guy, California guy. At Brooklyn, the Lakers are coming there. I kind of like him. I like Brook Lopez at 6.8. We got Bradley Beal at 6.8. Can be a decent play tomorrow. George Hill, we got to make sure he's still out. Rudy Gay is questionable at 6.7, which is why, and he's kind of doubtful to play, was the last thing I read, which is why I really don't like a lot of Sacramento tomorrow against Houston. If Rudy Gay doesn't play, I think the game's going to blow up for sure. Al Horford at 6.7. He's in play against San Antonio. DeAndre Jordan. If I like Blake Griffin, I don't like DeAndre Jordan too much. Sweet Lou Williams. Now, the Brooklyn Nets are really bad against shooting guards, but he's just a guy who is tough for me to roster because he doesn't do anything besides score on most occasions. So, Serge Ibaka at 6.4. No. Jeff Teague at 6.4 against Miami. I don't like that. Avery Bradley, not so much, 6.3. Harrison Barnes can be a decent play at 6.2 against Detroit at home. I like him. We always want to attack Boston rebounding. I think LaMarcus Aldridge will be a really nice way to do that tomorrow at 6.1. That way we don't have to pay up to that Kawhi Leonard status. We can still attack Boston rebounding in that way. I like Martin Gortat tomorrow. If there's a way to target Charlotte is through their bigs, I can definitely see Martin Gortat getting a really nice double-double at 6K. I like that. Miles Turner going up against Hassan Whiteside. No, I'm good on that. Ersan Ilyasova, the price is up on him. He's at 6K now, and he's probably going to be going up against Patrick Patterson in some spots. So I kind of like Ersan Ilyasova tomorrow. I think he can do some good rebounding, especially since we still have that minutes limit on Joel Embiid. Julius Randle is questionable. We need to check on that. And he is power forward and center eligible. 5.9K against Brooklyn. If he's out, I love Trevor Booker. Fast-paced game. Brooklyn's at home. I love Trevor Booker, especially if Julius Randle is out. Nikolai Vucevic, he may be out tomorrow as well. Deron Williams, not a player I really like tomorrow against Detroit. But Wesley Matthews has been shooting hot. One of Detroit's best defenders is, believe it or not, is Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. He's a really decent on-ball defender, and I don't think he's going to be playing tomorrow. We need to check on that, because if he's not playing, I like Wesley Matthews to continue his good shooting and scoring streak that he's been on. JaMychal Green, Cleveland playing Memphis again. JaMychal Green, nah, I don't like that very much. Now, I like Tristan Thompson. When the big three sit, I like Tristan Thompson anyway. So I won't be going JaMychal Green. Evan Fournier against the Clippers. No, I don't like that very much. I like Tobias Harris at 5.8 against the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. Marcus Smart, no. D'Angelo Russell, we need some more minutes on him. Otto Porter, I think Otto Porter can be a decent play tomorrow. A lot of people are off him because he's had a lot of the last couple of games have been bad. But Otto Porter is in play for me tomorrow, as well as Trevor Ariza. Now, if I want to get a piece of this blowout, somebody got to do the blowing out. Do I want to risk that it's all Harden and we don't see a lot of Harden in the fourth quarter? Or do I want to take a shot on people like Trevor Ariza, Eric Gordon, and Patrick Beverly? I think that's a better way to attack the Sacramento Kings rather than paying that much up for James Harden. Jeremy Lin, we need to check on his minutes, because if he is playing tomorrow and he's with no restrictions, I like him at home against the LA Lakers. They are really bad against point guards. Eric Gordon, we talked about him already. I like him at 5.6. We know Dion Waiters and Vic Oladipo are going to be out. Valanciunas can be a decent play. The price point is so low on him at 5.6. He's kind of worth a shot. And a lot of folks are off Clint Capella. They don't like him at all. But a guy that athletic freak, I think we can see him in there at 5.5, get some quality minutes and maybe a cheap double-double. Derek Favors, we know he's going to be on the minutes restriction, so stay away from him. Paul Gasol at 5.5. That's a decent play, especially if you want to target the Boston rebounder we talked about, but he's just not a very great rebounder, not as good as LaMarcus Aldridge is for 600 more, and I'd rather pay up for LaMarcus Aldridge than to pay down to Paul Gasol. Markieff Morris, I think, is going to be a nice play tomorrow. He's going to be guarding Marvin Williams. Marvin Williams likes to hang around the perimeter. That means rebound, transition. I like Markieff Morris tomorrow at 5.4K. Pat Beverly is definitely in play at 5.4, going up against Sacramento. Darren Collison, no, at 5.3. Pat Beverly's going to be guarding him, no. Marcus Morris, I don't like him. Jay Crowder, I don't like him at all. Zach Randolph is going to be a decent play tomorrow if Marc Gasol is out. We can definitely roll with the industry chalk play again with Zach Randolph. Bismack Biyombo, no. Tyler Johnson, maybe. Sean Kilpatrick again, but we want to target the LA Lakers perimeter. We can definitely use Sean Kilpatrick tomorrow at 5.1K. That's a good price on him. I like Reggie Jackson tomorrow at 5.1. I'm going to be there when he gets that big game. I'm going to be there. And I think tomorrow might be the time. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, we talked about him a little bit and his defensive prowess. He may be out tomorrow as well. We got to check on that. Steven Adams at 5.1 going up against Rudy Gobert. Nah. Jordan Clarkson, he's in play at 5K. Thad Young, no, not against Miami. I don't like him. Sergio Rodriguez, if he's out, we saw an awesome game from TJ McConnell last time. Toronto isn't that good against point guards. So if Rodriguez is playing, I like him. If he's not, I like McConnell at the discount. Jahlil Okafor, 5K. I don't like him too much against Toronto. Tony Allen, 4.9. That may be a decent play, especially since the big three is going to be sitting out. I like him. Tristan Thompson, we talked about him. I like him some. Ryan Anderson, no. Elfrid Payton, not against the Clippers. Not against the Clippers. Even though he's playing a lot with the second team, so he's going to be seeing some of the second team defense. They know how to fit Chris Paul in there. And the Clippers just play a really good team defense against point guards, so I won't be going with Elfrid Payton tomorrow. Shelvin Mack, no. Joe Johnson, no. Robert Covington could be a decent game. Him and DeMarre Carroll, we playing against each other. They both like to stand around and shoot threes on the outside, but I do like Robert Covington some tomorrow. Josh Richardson, he is in play. DeMarre Carroll is definitely in play against Philadelphia at 4.6. We got Patty Mills at 4.6. Wayne Ellington, 4.5. No. Dwight Powell, 4.5. No. Joe Ingles, that's over for him. Joe Ingles, he had a shot. He played well for that little stretch. It's over. It's gonna stop. Another main player is going to be added to the rotation. over the next few games, talking about Derek Favors. So we're not going to be seeing a lot of Joe Ingles again. Bojan Bogdanovic, he owes me money, so I do like him tomorrow at 4.4K. Marvin Williams can be a decent play at 4.4, going up against Markieff Morris. Omri Caspi, 4.4 is going to be in play because he's going to get some of that scrub love if the game does blow out too. Dario Saric at 4.4 is in play. Nerlens Noel is questionable with that wrist. We need to check on that at 4.4. MKG 4.3. I don't like that too much. Cody Zeller, he is in play. Andrew Harrison, of course, is in play at 4.3. Enes Kanter 4.3. Andre Roberson 4.2. No. TJ McConnell is here at 4.1. Luol Deng at 4K flat. He's had a pretty good string of games the last 3 games. Brandon Ingram, no. Frank Kaminsky could be in play at 4K. Monte Ellis, we know he is out. We're going to be seeing some Glenn Robinson III against Miami. I don't like that at all. Trey Lyles at 4K, no. Nick Stauskas, Sauce, no. So it's a juicy 10-game slate, man. We've got a lot of plays on this slate, a lot of things to take advantage of. Let us go ahead and jump into the point totals for tomorrow. This is going to give us, a more clear indication of where we want to invest the most salary. We're going to start in Miami, where the Indiana Pacers are traveling to Miami to take on the Heat. This is a 205-point total, with the Miami Heat being the home favorite, giving up 1.5 points to the Indiana Pacers. Now, 205 is a nice total, especially when the game involves Miami, because most of the games that they're in are like smaller point totals. So we've got to look closely at this game. I think that Goran Dragic is definitely my favorite play in this game. I can look for Hassan Whiteside to do well too. Now, both teams miss a lot of shots. They're amongst the lowest players, the lowest totals in the league when it comes to field goal percentage, especially from 3. So I definitely think that the rebounders in this game are going to have a shot at playing well. I say I don't like Thad Young very much, but the more I think about it, I don't want to take the guy that's going to be guarding Hassan Whiteside. I'd rather have the guy next to him, and we're talking about Miles Turner. That's going to be Thad Young. So he is the only big on the Indiana side that I think that I would like. On the Miami side, of course, I like Whiteside. I think Paul George is in play in this game. Jeff Teague, not so much, but Goran Dragic is definitely going to be a really good play in this game. So if I had to pick anybody from the Miami side, it would be Goran Dragic. Anybody from the Indiana side, it would be Paul George and Thad Young. The next game we're going to talk about is going to be the LA Clippers going to Orlando to take on the Magic. It's like there's no point total for this game because Nikolai Vucevic was dealing with that corneal abrasion over his eye. So this game could blow out, man. This game could blow out and get out of hand really quick. So I like Chris Paul because if anybody's going to have something to do with the blowout, it's going to be Chris Paul. I think Blake Griffin is definitely in play in this game. When you want to attack the LA Clippers, you can do so on the low post. So Serge Ibaka pulling them guys out, being able to shoot that shot. If his shot's going down like it was tonight, Serge Ibaka can definitely be a good play. Evan Fournier might not be a bad play because he's going to see a lot of JJ Redick defense, but JJ Redick is not a bad defender. I mean, he is, and plus, you got to chase his ass around the whole game. He's running off a screen. He never stops moving. So that's a tough task for Evan Fournier to do, to work that hard on the defensive end and still work as hard on the offensive end to fight for his points. So I don't know if I'll be messing with Evan Fournier or even anybody from the Orlando Magic side for that matter. The next game is going to be the Toronto Raptors going to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. This is a 207 point total with Philadelphia being the home dog. Toronto is giving up 8.5 points. Now, anytime, if you follow the show, anytime I've got a home dog, that automatically, to me, gives them, just a boost. Because, I mean, if you're the underdog and you're at home, there's a certain level of comfort that goes with that. When you expected to lose, you play looser. And I really think that with Joel Embiid on the floor, if he's on the floor, this game is not going to blow out. And we're going to see a full allotment of minutes for everybody involved. And that's why I like Kyle Lowry in this game so much. I think Kyle Lowry can be an excellent player in this game. Not so much for DeMar DeRozan. But on the other hand, when it comes to shooting guards, I kind of like Gerald Henderson. I think Gerald Henderson can score against DeMar DeRozan. Him not being a great defender on the low post, you've got to like, even in his limited minutes, you've got to like Joel Embiid. Valanciunas is in play, but not somebody who I'm going to play. And if you think the game blows out, then you've got to look at the scrub love on both sides of the ball. On the Toronto side, we're talking about Terrence Ross. We're talking about Norman Powell. We're talking about Patrick Patterson. On the Philadelphia side, we're talking about guys like, Nick Stauskas can get into the mix. Even Okafor. Even Okafor can get into it, because we're only going to see 28 minutes at the most from Joel Embiid. So there's definitely value spots in this game, no matter how the game goes. If it's a close game or if it's a blowout, there's definitely value spots. The next game we're going to talk about is the Charlotte Hornets going to Washington to take on the Wizards. It's a 212.5 point total, with it being even on the spread. This is an even point spread, so that means this game's going to be very close. They expect both teams to score 106 points, and I'm going to have a lot in this game, like a lot of other people will. I like John Wall. I like Kemba. I like Otto Porter. I like Markieff Morris in this game. I think Marcin Gortat is going to be a really good play in this game. Cody Zeller can definitely be a good play at that cheap price that he's at. So there's a lot of fantasy goodness in this game. The only player in this game that a lot of people are going to be on that I don't like very much is Nick Batum. It's the only guy. Next game we're going to talk about is the LA Lakers going to Brooklyn to take on the Nets. This is a 228 point total. That's the highest point total on the slate. 228 points is the total for this game, and it's surprising. It's only a 1.5 point spread, and that's in favor of the Brooklyn Nets because they are at home. So there can be some stacking in this game. Now, the one thing that we need to pay attention to on the LA Lakers side is we never see, 30, 40 minutes from anybody. We know Luke Walton. I've talked about this before. Luke Walton comes from the Golden State coaching tree. And if you notice, that's the same thing they do. They play everybody from 18 to 24 minutes. Everybody. People rarely get 30, 40 minutes in this offense. And I'm not sure that ends tomorrow. Especially, lately, because of some injuries, some guys have had to play more. But with Nick Young coming back, D'Angelo Russell coming back, we're not going to see 40 minutes from anybody. So I don't know where we would go on the LA Lakers side, outside of maybe Julius Randle if he plays, but he is questionable. We need to keep an eye on that. And that would make me lean more towards the Brooklyn Nets side. The three guys I like from Brooklyn are actually four guys. I like Jeremy Lin. If he plays and he's not under any restrictions, I like Jeremy Lin. I like Sean Kilpatrick. I like Brook Lopez and Trevor Booker. Not all together, but in some spots, I'm going to have a piece of these guys, especially if we find out that Lin is going to be playing a full allotment of minutes or he's playing without restrictions. The next game we're going to talk about is a 218 point total. It's a 9.5 point differential in favor of the home team. This is the Sacramento Kings going to Houston to take on the Rockets. I already told you I think this game could blow out, and Harden is not completely off the table for me. But to get a piece of this game and to get a piece of Harden's stats that are going to blow this game out, I'd rather have the supporting cast players around him. I like Trevor Ariza. I like Eric Gordon off of the bench to kind of finish off the game. And I like Patrick Beverley in this game. Nothing on the other side will be too much for me to roster, especially if we don't see Rudy Gay in this game. Boogie can be Boogie, but we need to see 4 quarters of Boogie. If Boogie is playing in the fourth, 9 times out of 10, he's getting to it. And if he's not playing me because it's a blowout, that's a complete waste of that $11K in salary. So not too much I like on the Sacramento side. Next game we're going to talk about is the Cleveland Cavaliers going to Memphis to take on the Grizzlies. This is a 203 point total, with Cleveland being the road favorite. They're giving up 7.5 points to the Memphis Grizzlies. We know that we're not going to see the big three tomorrow, so we've got to hang around so we can get that projected starting lineup. We can know exactly who's going to be in there. There's a ton of guys that you can look at on the Cleveland side. We're talking about Iman Shumpert is in play now. We're talking about J.R. Smith is probably one of my favorite plays from this game. The salary on him is still very low. Tristan Thompson is in play. Channing Frye is in play. It's gonna be the Liggins guy, the Jordan McRae guy. I mean, there's a lot of guys we're gonna have to sift through, because you're gonna have to roster some of these guys because they're gonna be chalk. A lot of them are gonna be chalk. We're gonna have to roster them and pick the right one who goes off. On the Memphis side, Zebo is definitely in play. We need to find out if Marc Gasol is gonna be back in the game, because if he is in the game, then that makes him definitely must play tomorrow. Andrew Harrison is gonna be a play tomorrow. Tony Allen. There's gonna be a lot of this game. We're gonna have a lot of pieces of this game tomorrow. You're gonna have to, because if you don't, and one of these cheap chalk guys goes off, bam, you're never catching them. You're completely separated from them when it comes to your GPPs and your cash games. Next game we're gonna talk about is the lowest point total on the slate. Is the Detroit Pistons going to Dallas to take on the Mavericks. This is a 189.5 point total, with the Detroit Pistons giving up 4.5 points. That's right, Dallas is a home dog. Last time we saw Dorian Finney-Smith go off, don't think that happens again. This is a Harrison Barnes game. He's going to play well, guarded by Marcus Morris. That leads me to not like Marcus Morris on the other side, but I like Tobias Harris in this game. We may see KCP back. We need to check on that and be sure. Darren Williams, not so much. I also like Reggie Jackson in this game. I definitely do. And Andre Drummond is definitely in play in this game. Andre Drummond is like a lock to me to get 6x value. I love Andre Drummond tomorrow against the Dallas Mavericks. The next game we're going to talk about is the Oklahoma City Thunder traveling to Utah to take on the Jazz. There is no point total out for this as of yet, because we do have some injuries on the Oklahoma City side as well as the Utah side. I believe Oklahoma City, of course, we know we've got Depot. On the Utah side, we've got George Hill. We don't know if he's going to be playing. And we got Derek Favors coming back off an injury and is going to be seeing a limited workload. So this game is kind of a fade to me. Only guy I would think about rostering and have like some semblance of confidence would be Gordon Hayward, but he's going to be going up against Andre Roberson. After what we saw tonight, until Depot comes back or until someone else stands up as a real second option scoring the ball, I don't know what we can do with this Oklahoma City team. I just don't. The next game I'm going to talk about is the Boston Celtics traveling to San Antonio to take on the the Spurs, man. This is a 201.5 point total, with the Boston Celtics getting 8 points. They're giving the Celtics 8 points. San Antonio is the home favorite. We're not going to see Isaiah Thomas in this game. Probably going to see Marcus Smart start. The team is very different. They're a lot tougher with Marcus Smart running the point guard. But I still just don't like a lot about this game. To me, this is a good late night hammer game for me, because this is a good game to fade. But I do want to attack the Boston rebounding side of the ball. So that's going to lead me to go either Kawhi Leonard is in play for that reason, if you wanted to pay up for an attack on that Boston rebounding. And also, my favorite play from the game is probably going to be LaMarcus Aldridge. I like him a lot. You can look to Paul Gasol if you like. He is going to do some rebounding and have some work at the top of the key. But Al Horford is pretty good guarding around that high elbow area, and also running out and getting in transition. So that's going to lead me. If I like anybody from the Boston side, it will be Al Horford. This has been your DFS Jerusalem, breaking down last night's 6-game slate, as well as taking a look ahead to the player pool, point totals, and all of that good stuff that we need to roll into tomorrow. Not a very great night in the sweatshop, but it's always a great night in the sweatshop, because while I was doing the show, I've been getting tweets from cats that have really taken hold to the Core 4 system and are making it work for them. Thank y'all so much for cheering me up. If you want to support the show, there are many ways you can do so. You are doing the purest form of support right now just by watching me, lending me your ear, giving me your views, your likes, and your comments. But if you want to support the show further, there's a box over here, might be over there. It says support the show. Go ahead and click that box and let that motherfucker take you wherever it want to. You can also hit the website up, www.dfssweatshop.com. There you can receive your paid subscription and be a part of the DFS Sweatshop family, where you will get our daily newsletter, our cheat sheets, our player pools, our rankings, our core 4 plays for the day, as well as the core 4 strategy of the roster building system. You get that too. Shout out to everybody in the Facebook VIP. Thank y'all for everything y'all do for the brand. This has been your DFS Jerusalem. Remember, the number one thing I want y'all to do in the sweatshop is always keep it 300.